Your opposition to the Q Park. It would be fundamentally wrong to allow the DAA to monopolise all the car parking at Dublin Airport. Q Park was one of the offered a competitor and a lower cost car parking service. It was more remote, a lower cost car parking service to Dublin Airport. I think the Competition Authority were absolutely correct to reject the DAA buying it, but it's used as a distraction by the DAA. If the DAA say car parking is full, we would go back and say, why are you not opening up some of the 300 acres of land, the fields that you own immediately around the airport, around the environs of the airport? Yeah. You had the winter to put in some 804 and dust. In fact, you could do it in less than 3 months. You don't need planning permission for a temporary car parks, and these would be temporary car parks. And Dublin, it is a peak supply. So when the DAA come back in here 2 weeks or in a week's time, don't be distracted. Don't let Kenny Jacobs mention Q Parks. Ask him why he is not opening up some of the fields or developing some of the fields for car parking around Dublin Airport. And you will get also health and safety. People just want the right to park a car during June, July and August and not get scalped. He's charging more for car parking than we are for the airfares to get you to London. A spur train line, I have no issue. I mean, again, the problem with public transport, and if you take an airport like Heathrow, which has Gatwick, it has the Heathrow Express and it has the Underground, less than 15% of the passengers going to and from Heathrow, which is the UK's use the train. Most come by bus or most drive. The problem with all these train solutions at airports is people generally for early morning or late evening go from their home to the airport. It is not convenient for them to drive into, I don't know whether it's Connolly Station or Houston Station or Bushorus or Stevens Green. They're not going to drive into the centre of town at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get public transport to get to the airport and then to do it on the way back. It is, and we all know it is our natural instinct, if we are going to the airport for an early morning or late evening flight, you'll drive there, you'll park, whatever the car parking is, that's what you'll do because that's the most convenient for you. 90% of people going to and from the airport are coming from their homes. The inbound passengers who are the visitors are very well served. At Dublin, we are incredibly fortunate. Whoever designed Dublin in 1939 or picked the location at Collinstown, it's only 9 kilometres from the centre of town. It is very well served by buses. I mean, the service of the bus and the capacity the buses put on is massively underestimated. The buses in 2007, when the planning restriction was put in place, accounted for 5% of Dublin's traffic. Today, buses deliver between 25 and 30% of Dublin's traffic, mainly huge volumes of the inbound. And it is not buses going to the centre of... there's buses going to Mullingar, to Kinnegad, buses going to Knock Airport from Dublin. Buses are the way we solve this problem without wasting billions of pounds on a metro solution. And again, I have no issue with a metro or a train if it is just for commuters going to and from, Whitehall, Drumcondra, Whitehall, Swords, Rush, where most of huge numbers of my employees live. Fine, but it doesn't solve Dublin Airport. Dublin Airport gets solved by having more car parking capacity so that you keep the cost of car parking reasonable and more buses. And it is very well served by buses.